Today we're going to start chapter 6, which is also a trig chapter. Now we are going to just look at the first couple of sections. So the next couple of days we'll be spending time on the law of sines. So a law of sines is an equation, a formula that you can use to find the measures of angles and sides in triangles. Okay, everything we've done in trig up to this point has been based on right triangle trig. And the law of sines and cosines will let you find angle measures and lengths of sides for triangles that are not right triangles. So it is very beneficial. You will set up a proportion using two of these fractions. Okay, so using two ratios. So whichever information you have, on this triangle, we are told that we have angle B and side B. So when I go to set up a proportion, I'm definitely going to use those two pieces of information. So I'm going to use side B is 27.4 to the sine of angle B at 28.7 degrees. Okay, and then I'm going to find what piece of information I want. So I need to find side C. I don't have that piece of information. I do not have side A, and I don't have angle A. So remember, if you're solving a triangle, we are looking for all missing pieces. So I'm going to find the measure of angle A. I'm also going to find the length of side A and the length of side C. Okay, well, since we have two of the three angle measures, we can add those up, subtract from 180, and that is going to give us that angle A is 49 degrees. So here, 49 degrees, angle A. And now I'm going to be able to use that. So now that I know angle A, I can find side A by using my law of sines. So I'm going to use the ratio of A to sine A. So that's 49 degrees. And then we are going to cross multiply. Okay, so 27.4 times the sine of 49 degrees is A times the sine of 28.7 degrees. Okay, you can multiply both sides by the sine of 49 degrees. That works just as well. So whatever method you would like to use to solve that, you can. So 27.4 times sine of 49, that's approximately 20.86 or 0.68. Okay, now one thing you may want to do is keep all of these decimal values in your calculator so that you get an accurate measurement, and then you can round at the end. So really 27.4 times the sine of 49 degrees is 20.679. So I did round it to 0.68. But I'm going to go ahead and let my calculator keep all of those digits and divide by the sine of 28.7. So here, my next step, divided by sine of 28.7 degrees. Cancels there, and A is about 43.06 or 43.1. I didn't specify what to round to, so one or two decimal places should be sufficient for us. Okay, so there's side A. Okay, now the only thing left to find is side C. Okay, now remember, these are not right triangles, so you cannot use the Pythagorean theorem to find your third side. So sometimes students forget that. They're like, oh, I got two sides of my triangle, Pythagorean theorem, I'm getting the third side. Okay, but remember this triangle is not a right triangle, so Pythagorean theorem is not going to apply. All right, so that means we need to set up another law of sines equation. Okay, this time using C. So I need C to the sine of angle C equals, and I think I'll just go back to B. That was original information. So I think I'll just use that again. Okay, so similarly, you can cross multiply. Oops, I forgot one thing. I put sine of C here. I need my angle measure. So this should be 102.3 degrees. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to have, when I multiply, I'm going to have C times the sine of 28.7 degrees equals 27.4 times the sine of 102.3. Okay, so again, your calculator, I'm going to go ahead and multiply 27.4 times the sine of 102.3, and I'm going to divide by the sine of 28.7. So I just did that all at one time. And C equals 55.74. So I'm just going to go about 55.7 for side C. Okay. All right, so that's how you use the law of sines. So it's a proportion. You're setting up a proportion and you're just solving that. Now, do remember, if you're using your calculator, that is your app on your Chromebook, that every time you turn that calculator on, it defaults back to radian measure. So we're working in degrees. So you want to just be aware of that. Okay, example 2. Again, we're solving, so we do not know the measure of angle B or the measure of angle C this time. So measure of angle B we need to find, measure of angle C we need to find, and we do not have side C, so we're going to need to find side C. Okay, now same thing, you're going to want to find an angle measure and its side to use as your first ratio. So I know angle A and I know side A. So I'm going to go 22 over the sine of 42 degrees. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is you're going to want to find angle B as your first option. So I'm going to have sine of B here, and side B is 12. Okay, you cannot find C at this moment in time because I don't know side C and I don't know angle C. Okay, so if I tried to find that, I would have two unknowns in this equation, and I won't be able to solve it. Okay, so I'm going to use, look for angle B, okay, because I know that side B is 12. So this way I have one item that I am solving for. Okay, so 22 times the sine of B equals 12 times the sine of 42. Okay, I'm going to divide by 22. So I have the sine of B equals, now again, I'm just going to let my calculator keep this calculation, times the sine of 42, and I'm going to divide it by 22. Okay, so sine of B is about 0.36498, and the decimal keeps going. Okay, again, just let your calculator keep all of those digits. If I want to find the angle measure, you're going to do the inverse sine. Okay, so I'm going to go inverse sine. So second sine, and then I'm going to go second answer. Your answer is right above your negative button. And then what that does for you is it saves all of those digits. Okay, so angle B is about 21.4 degrees. Okay, so now I have two of my angles, and I can subtract from 180 to get my third angle. So I'm going to subtract. I'm going to get 116.6 degrees. And that's my third angle. Okay, so the only remaining piece of information that I don't have is side C. But now that I know angle C, I can use law of sines now. Okay, so I'm going to have C to sine of 116.6 equals, and I think I'm just going to go back to my original information. Side A is 22, and then sine of 42 degrees. Okay, cross multiply. I'm going to have C times the sine of 42 degrees equals 22 times sine of 116.6. Divide both sides by sine of 42. And again, I can put all that in my calculator. And C should be approximately 29.4. Okay. All right, example 3, a similar example. The only difference here is that you are working with degrees and minutes. Okay, so as a reminder, if you go second, apps, okay, your second apps button takes you to your degree. Okay, you can find your degree symbol, you can find your minute symbol, and number 4 that you may find helpful is you can convert from decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, and seconds. Okay, so second apps is what you want to remember for this one. Okay, again, same thing. We're going to set up the same type of ratios and solve this one. Okay, so let's see our list. I do not know measure of angle B, and I do not have side C or side A. Okay, so those are 3 pieces of information that we're going to find. Now, I do know 2 of the angle measures, so I'm going to do 180 degrees minus 102 degrees, 20 minutes, and I'm going to subtract 32 degrees, 50 minutes. Okay, so here I've typed in 180 degrees, and then I'm subtracting my other 2 angle measures. Now, remember, it was second apps. Second apps is where you go to get your degree and your minutes. So here is this, and I'm going to do enter, and that gives me 44.83 repeating degrees. Okay, now my angle measures are given in degrees and minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to second apps and number 4 and enter, and I am converted to degrees and minutes. So this is going to be 44 degrees, 50 minutes, and that's this angle measure here. Okay, so 44 degrees, 50 minutes. Now, setting up for finding A and C are going to work exactly the same way we did the previous ones. Just when you go to do your calculations, you're going to be using minutes and degrees. So you're going to need to go to second apps to input that information, and then you can solve it. So I'll set up both of the ratios for you so that you can see them, but then you can just solve them on your calculator. Okay, so I set up both of the ratios that you could use to find side A and side C. So you can do your cross multiplying, practice using your calculator, and those are the values you should get. Okay, tomorrow, second part, then we will do law of sines again, but we'll travel into special cases.